Good evening. So it is an after work day, weekday. I'm home now, and I thought I'd make a quick video here. So I got my buddy Daulton. He has graciously let me look at his new motorcycle. So his new motorcycle is this. It's a beauty. It is a 1986 KDX200. Drum brakes, front and rear. Nice little two-stroke pipe, the old style. Got a headlight in there, taped up, doesn't work. So my buddy Daulton is planning on riding with me and racing against me with this against my Honda 250R, my 1986 Honda, in the Evolution class at the FTR. But right now, unfortunately, this bike does not run. He apparently got a good deal for it. He asked me to look at it. No big deal. I'd love to. I've taken a cursory look, and most likely it's just a gummed up carburetor. It kicks over. It feels like it's got compression. Haven't pulled anything apart yet, but I will do that now and make a video of just kind of getting this thing up and hopefully getting it running and checking all the bushings and bearings and check the brakes, make sure everything's working well. But right now, I can tell you that, you know, he gives me the bike, he brings it over, which is great, except he brings it over dirty. Like, this thing is full of sand and crappy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wash it, just so I can see all the parts and pieces. I'll give it a bath, and then I'll pop everything off and take a look. I'll pull the spark plug out, take a look out. This filter looks okay. Pull the air filter out of here, and then get up on a stand and start pulling it apart. The previous owner had rigged up himself a little headlight system here. That's all I can imagine what that is. Yeah, it looks like it's a headlight system that he's got wired in. I guess it's running off the stator. I don't know. So I'll have to figure that out and kind of figure out what to do with that. But that headlight obviously is super old school and not working anymore. I don't even know where the little bulb piece is in there somewhere. Okay, no big deal. Looks like it's going to be a blast to ride. I'd love to ride it. So hopefully I can get it started here soon and rip it around here a little bit, get it ready for him. When I poked my nose into the gas can, it doesn't smell right. So it's got fuel, but it stinks, meaning it doesn't smell good. It smells old, shellacky. I'm hoping it hasn't gummed up the tank, and the carb will, hopefully it'll break up with some carb cleaner. All right, but that's it. It's kind of an odd, it's got some odd interesting little levers here. I wonder if they're original. Clutch feels good. If it's engaged or not, we'll see. Okay, clean, and then I'll get it up on the stand. Okay, so she's got a proper wash on her now. Much cleaner. Got all the dust and sand knocked off, just so I can see things. All right, so now let's go ahead and pop off this air cleaner, take a look at that, see what that looks like. I think that's going to be straightforward and easy here. Goes down there. Thermal box, kind of just like my Honda. Got some screws in here. Now let's use a screwdriver for this. Dun dun dun. Well, looks like it's been a little bit before they've been cleaned. Black. There's the screws here. Put them down here. Get in there. You get in there. Huh. Kind of nasty. Not awful. It's not 100% covered, so should get some air. Kind of weird how it's crunched in here, though. I guess that's the way it is. I'll have to look this up. I don't know how this should be in here. It looks a little bit odd to me, but whatever. Oh, look at this. It's a two-stage, or a two-stage filter. One and the other. It's like a cover. That's interesting. That's clean, so that's good. Wonder how she breathes, though. If she breathes enough. Yeah, that's fairly clean, right? It's got a little cage there. Alright, let's take a look at this. No, nothing coming off, so nothing crazy in there. Nothing sticky like typical. Little dust around here. Looks like the intake is here, or one of the intakes is here. The intake must be up here. Yeah, up under the seats where the intake's at. All right, that's not terrible. Next I'm going to pull the seat and then pull the tank so we can get the carburetor off and work on that. All right, let me get my stuff ready for the seat. All right, seat time. Let's see here. Looks like we got to get up in here. A couple of 10s, I think, on the side there. All right, I don't think anything else for these seats. Oh, there it is. Seat. Looks like it's in good shape. Somebody sealed it up there to keep the dirt out. Oh man, I should have cleaned up in here. It's nasty. What is this? This is some rubber sealant there to seal up some stuff. Top of the shock bolt there. I'll have to check that bushing in there, see if that's good or not. Looks like that's a 12. All right. Let's do this. Let's take off these fuel lines. Fuel is off. Got these clamps off as I was checking the fuel line earlier, because that's where I know that the float bowl is definitely stuck, because fuel wasn't draining down in there. All right, with that off, the bolt off, I think that's it for these old tanks. I think, maybe not. Maybe there's something else. Feels like there's something else. Is there something else? Ah, look at this right here. What do we got? That looks like a 10. Well, I did not know this, but apparently this bolt goes all the way through the other side and it's spinning. So we're going to have to do this number. Got it. All right. A long bolt going across, holding that in. Now we can pull it out, hopefully. There we go. All right, that should be the tank. That's a different design there. Let's see, did you come off? Yes. Hoses are off, it's off, and the tank is off. We'll set her down here and take a look at this. All right, what do we got? Nice, he's got some improvised foam in there, pretty smart. The old stuff's gone. Wiring looks straightforward. Nothing crazy. Looks good. Got a couple here that are cut off, right? So we'll clean this wiring harness up too and kind of take out what's not needed. What do we got here? Oh, he sealed it up. Look at that. Silicone all over it, just filled it all up. It's actually pretty damn smart, unless something goes wrong, then you got to dig all that out. But so far so good. This vent hose coming up probably from the carb, if I had to guess. Yep, into the intake. All right, well, while we're here, let's check this shock bolt and see if it has any play in it. Ready? All right, I'm lifting up on it, and it's got, this is the swing arm. See that movement? That doesn't seem right to me. This, is that welded there? So she's welded to that frame. So it's welded here through this. This has got a plastic thing. If I had to guess, there'd be some bushings in there. Is that a nut? That's a nut. So it seems like, I don't know what we got to do there, but definitely there's some play. Let's check this one here. and see what we get. Maybe the play is here. Get this out of the way. I want to see this one. I want to see if this one moves at all when I lift up on this wheel. Ready? Ah, shoot, moving the whole bike here. I'm moving the whole bike. Can't really tell because I'm holding the camera. If I wasn't holding the camera, see if we get any play out of that thing. All right, so I need to look and see if that's moving. What is moving here? All right, so I'm having to put the camera down to do this, but I'm watching the pivot point here. When I lift up on the swing arm, straight up and down, I get this tiny bit of movement, but it's not in this bushing, and it's not in this bushing. It's up here. So it seems to me like the shock mount itself. So this shock mount right here is welded to this tube. This is the tube here that goes through. Although when I watch this and I lift up on the swing arm, it doesn't move per se. So it's got to be something. Of course, I'm not watching the bottom one either. I guess I should be taking a look here. I'll get underneath and try to watch and see if the bottom joint's moving. But I definitely feel like it's moving. The shock mount is moving on this. It's hard welded to this tube, and that tube is welded to the frame, so I don't understand. I need to take another look here. Let's take another look here. The whole thing is moving. Ah, that's not welded to the frame, it's right there. Okay, so the bushings inside this are definitely worn. So we've got to take this off and check those bushings inside there because they're definitely worn. There's some play there for sure. But now let me take a look at the underneath and see if that bottom part moves. Let's see if you move around at all on this bottom one. This one's hard welded, so we'll be checking the joint here, see if it moves. Ready? Yeah, that looks pretty solid to me. Let's see. Yeah, the movement's coming from up top. The swing arm itself, I feel like it's pivoting. It almost feels like it's got a spring. I mean, if you look at that, that's a spring right there. Around that, that's the brake return spring. But it feels like this has got the swing arm bolts. It's a regular, to check that. So there's the swing arm bolts. Let's see if they move. So if I had to guess, there's some needle bearings inside here. Right here's your swing arm bolt. And let's see if the swing arm bolt moves when we put some upward tension on her. Can't really do it. Do it with the left hand here. She doesn't want to move at all. I have to do it this way. Now, so I can tell all the movement's coming from right up here. So it's those bushings up top that got to get relooked. It's slight, but it'll definitely wear things out if we don't get it fixed. All right. That was just while I had it off. I'm going to pull the wheels and everything else, but right now I'm going to pull the carb so we can get this, get her started. make sure she runs. Let's put that back in. The beauty of these old bikes is they're just so simple. So nice. Make sure this is back in. Come on. There we go. All right. Now, carburetor. Couple of screwdriver actions there, I see. And then the top. And we'll pull the slide out. Starting to rain again. There we go, a little movement. Shouldn't be bad though, looks like the clouds are gone. Alright, let's see what the slide looks like here. Come on out of there. Come on. There we go. Come on. There we go. That looks good. Looks like every other slide. Needle looks fine. Alright, where's the other one at? It's on the other side. Okay. And it's raining. It's raining on me, which sucks. It's alright. A little bit of rain never hurt anybody unless it starts to downpour. And then we're gonna complain. This is usually a two-handed job here to get these things out. Gotta condense that. There we go. Shoot there. All right, one hand. Which way is it gonna come? Probably this way. Let's get around. Crankcase. That's a crankcase breather there. Let's get this thing up and over. Got some gas in there, so gas is getting up there. Are you gonna come out this way? Which way are you gonna come out? There we go. Come on out. I'm gonna get the hoses up. They're all down there. Well, what's that thing? There we go. She should come right out. She should come right out. There we go. Carburetor is out. Let's take a look at that bad boy. Oh, there's some red oil in there. So oil definitely getting in that side. Feel that side. Oh, I feel like, I hear it moving now, so maybe the float's not stuck. It's just gummed up. I'm gonna spray it all out, get her cleaned up, see what we can do. But since it's raining, I should probably roll this inside. All right, carburetor's going inside. All right, let's take this thing apart, get her sprayed out real quick. Let's take the bowl off. Alright, so float looks good. Needle we can take out and check, but I don't know, I have to measure it and see what the specs are for this thing and where it should be, where it shouldn't be, and bend it right. Seals look good. Looks like this thing's been a little bit of gunk in the bottom there. I don't know if you can see that or not, the light's not showing it, but a little bit of crap in there. See if I put my fingernail there. And so it's been sitting for a little bit, but not bad, not shellacked up. A little bit of cleaning ought to do it some good. We'll get this thing cleaned up, sprayed out. Maybe that's all it needs, is a little bit cleaning of the jets. I think so. I only have a little bit of cleaner left, so I gotta be judicious with my use of this stuff. Do some jet cleaning here. How does it look? Cone's still there, it's not falling off. It's not bent too much. Alright, so the needle looks good. float bowl's not terrible. Now, where'd the pin go that holds that in? That's what I want to know. There's that little piece. Let's get that main jet cleared out. Nice and clean, going back together. Seal is still good. Getting there, but it'll work. Come on, get in there. Whoops. It's gonna be fine. Then let's do this. Let's get our little needle in there. And let's drop the needle in here. And then we are going to drop that. Let's put the needle on here. Hang it on there like that. If it floats over, drop it in. Come on, drop in there. Then we'll put this in. Come on. Okay, she's cleaned up. There's oil right there though. That's interesting. That's straight up oil. Let's stick her back in. All right, just put the carburetor back in. Everything's still not connected. Seat's not connected. Threw on a boot. Let's see if she'll fire up. Problem we have is the float bowl sticking open. I can tell because look, I turned the fuel on and she's dripping. So the float is stuck, but it should start. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, we'll see. All right, good afternoon. Trying to get the light right, that's not right. All right, good afternoon. It's probably around 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I am working on, trying to keep that light from there. I am gonna be working on Daulton's, what I now know to be a 1984 KDX200, not a 1986 KDX200. Having gone through the whole thing and realized that the parts I was trying to get didn't seem to quite match up. So this is what it is. But today, all that's left to be done to this is to replace the bushings on this piece right here, right? So if I get down here and I pull on it, you can see it come up and down. See that movement, hear that movement? So it's not the shock bushing, it's not this bushing, it's this piece here. The needle bearings are worn. So I've ordered them, I've got them, I've got to pull them out. Not sure how to do that actually with these bearings, but I do realize that I've got to pull the exhaust off, because to get to the bolt here, this pipe's got to come off. So I'm going to pull the pipe off, and then I'm going to detach this bolt and detach this bolt, and of course then finally unbolt this, which is one long bolt going all the way through. and pull that out and then try to press out the bearings. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. Try to get this done here in a few minutes. We'll see how it goes. Exhaust is off, piece of cake. Okay, so then this has got to come up before this thing is rubber. Okay, so let's take. Well, you know, what I'm thinking here is I'm thinking, instead of those bushings being bad, maybe it's this bushing that's bad. See that play up and down? I'll bet you this is the bad bushing. Not this one. This one doesn't seem to have any play whatsoever. So, that means it's most likely this one. Look at that. So the upper shock bushing, that is definitely too much play. Because it's only supposed to go up and down, not like that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to hit pause, and we are going to try and source the upper shock bearing. I know this is just a sleeve. Take it out. It's got a little rubber O-ring there. But I wonder, I feel like that bushing might be shot. Let's put the other one out. Let's pop out the other side. Let's see. It's hard to do with one hand. All right, get out there. All right, here, put this up. Put this up right here. Right there. You gotta come out of there. Other one's out with a rubber O-ring on it. Nice and greased. Let's see if this bushing moves. Oh yeah, I can absolutely feel it. All right, so this is the problem right here. This bushing in here is jacked. I can feel it clicking up and down. So we gotta get a new upper bushing. And once we do that, that'll take that play right out of there. So now we wait on parts again. Sorry, Dalton. I was hoping to have it done here in a few minutes, but I will leave it like this until I get that upper shot. But the good news is these needle bearings are not bad, so I don't gotta take that apart. That's a good deal. And then we'll check the others. This is solid. Man, I don't know. This is looking pretty shitty too. Look at this one. Can't really tell. Let's see. Should have a little bit of play so it's the circle, but up and down shouldn't. That feels like up and down play as well. Let's see about this. You can see that. Doesn't have any, I'm pulling on it nice and tight. It doesn't have any up and down movement. It's definitely loose and it feels greasy. This one feels like it has up and down movement. I don't know. Pretty old. But that one for sure is bad. For sure. So I can feel it in there clicking. Okay. We're replacing that. And I wonder now if I should even replace the bottom one because I can. Upper and lower. It doesn't feel like it's gonna. No, I feel like it's just the top one. Just the top one. I think I'll do both of these though. I think I'll do this one because I feel like this one might be bad. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. All right, back on the parts. There's a Kawasaki place that had the bushings for the other one, so we'll get online and get those ordered and see what we can do. All right. Probably another week before I get this done. Okay, see ya. Okay, last time we left off, I had to order the upper shock bushing for the KDX200. I got that shock bushing in. So here's what it looks like. It's just this little shock bushing, right? There's the part number there. What's interesting about this is it feels loose. So maybe that's just without grease, but I feel like I can actually move this thing up and down a little bit, which kind of concerns me. But it's brand new, genuine Japanese part. So this is the old one that's got to come out, and the way that works, this one's definitely loose. The way it works is you get these little snap rings around here. They're not traditional, like with the holes in them. They're just the regular rings that go on there. Kind of think of a piston ring in a KTM. You got one on each side. So they're not easy to get out. So it's kind of a struggle to kind of get a screwdriver in there and pry them out without breaking them and without them flying off, going everywhere else. I got one side out already, just kind of testing it out. I'm gonna go ahead and do this other side, and then I'll hopefully just press that bearing out and press the other one right back in, and then she'll be ready to go back inside. So let's see if we can show you how this thing comes out. This is where the edge of the gap is, right here and here. So what I'm going to do is take this thin blade screwdriver and put it on top. So I'm going to move it over a little bit to get a little good banging on there. Put it on the top edge, and my goal is to pry it forward a little bit so I can put this needle edge around it and pull it out. So let's see if that works. There we go. All right, just that simple, see? Then we get that in there. Just gotta take your time, breathe a little bit. Breathe a little bit as it comes up. There it is. And out she comes. All right, there she is, that little circlip. One on each side. They're out, and now we need to press this thing out. And I happen to have some tools for that. Let me get those tools out. All right, I got all kinds of these types of jiggas. Here we go. So let's take a look. What will we use here? All right, so you can see my setup here. I'm gonna press this bearing out. Kind of jerry-rigged up a little bolt with the socket there to press it out. This will hold it there. I will hold it on this end, and then I'll use my impact drill to kind of work it out. Make sure it's going the right direction, and then try to drive this out. Let's see what happens. Voila. Came out pretty smooth. Undo this. And here is the old bushing. Now, I can tell you that when it's in there, for sure, you can certainly feel play back and forth, up and down. It's pretty significant up and down. You can feel it. What's crazy is with the new one, this is a little bit thinner walled. See that? Same diameters, same height, but the walls are thinner here. Bigger bearing in there. But with this one, it even feels like you can move it. But that may just be me. Can't really tell. Actually, it feels like it's a lot of movement. Anyway, it's new. It's going in. It's an OEM part. That's what's happening. Let's clean this up a little bit, and then we'll press this in. It won't take much to press it in and out. It's probably been changed a few times since this is a 1984. This one we got to go a little bit slower because we're not trying to, run it all the way through. So we're just going to go slow with this one. On there. On there. Let's see here. Nice and straight. Just want to go far enough to where I can get the snap ring in. So let's see. A little bit more, I think. As I'm looking very closely in there to see where we're at. Let's take that off. A little bit deep, I think we're going to come back a little bit. Yeah, we got a little bit. That might be even perfect, but we might. Probably what I should have done is put the snap ring in one side and then pressed it down, and then that would be perfect. But this looks pretty good. Let me put the snap ring in and I'll just tap it back the other way. So, snap ring time. Clean this up a little bit. And then in she goes, the same way before. I'm going to lock this thing down on the counter here. Workbench. Alright. Now this is where you get yourself poked in the eye or shot in the eye if you don't do this thing right, because they like to fly out. So utilizing some little tiny screwdrivers here. Let's keep it to where it doesn't pop out of my face. Right? Start there, work our way down. Come on. Voila. Snappy snap. She rotates around. Let's see that she rotates around. She does. Okay. Good. Now what I will do is flip it over. Lock it down again. And what I'll do is I'll just tap this, get this thing to tap a little bit here. Use this. Making sure I got enough to put my snap ring in. I should. And let's get our snap ring in. Voila. She goes in. Let's make sure she spins around. And she does, so she's locked in. And that is the replacing of this upper shock bushing. Okay, so there she is, right? Let's see if she moves up and down. She does a little bit. I don't know what that's going to translate in the bike or not. We'll lube it up as we put it back in, but she's got to go back in. No big deal. Get that out of the way. she goes back in here. Now I've tested, I've lifted up and down, there's no movement out of here, out of these bushings, so at all, when I go up and down. Same with the dog bones down here, you know, left and right, but it's just sloppy, but it feels pretty darn tight. And when it all gets put back together, who knows? This one feels super tight at the bottom. This one was super loose, but it's still kind of loose with the new one, but we know it's a new one. So if it's loose at all, it's the way it is. All right, next, install. All right, so I've just put the shock back in. I didn't show that on camera, it's too easy. All right, so it's real simple. You have your upper bolt here, your compressor air canister here, you know, just it's got a rubber band and it's got a little screw, whatever you call these things, these screws there. Then your lower bolt, which is right underneath here. Again, should be really straightforward and simple. Dog bone here, put that one back in as well, and I'll hit these with some grease. But she's back in, so the upper shock bolt. Then I want, the big key here is, whoops, sorry about that. The big key here is, did that solve the problem? So if I grab the rear tire here and pull up, and I try to pull up and down and shake it, no movement whatsoever. That was the problem right there. So now she's on there, she's torqued down. Everything seems good. Actually, this seems to be a little bit, change if I can turn this thing or not, pivot it over. Give me a couple hands. I might take that washer off. I'm not getting any threads on the other side of that, so I'll take that washer off. Give this thing a little bit more bolt catch going through the top. All right, so that's that. That problem was fixed. Next thing, we're going to put the exhaust back on. Last night I did the float bowl and the carburetor because remember from the first part of this video several weeks ago, it was leaking when it was on. So I haven't tested that yet. There's no gas in here, so I redid the float, measured it. Seemed to be working pretty well on the bench. Put everything back together, put some gas in it, try to start it, see what happens. But the main issue, the only real problem was this upper shock mount bolt, and now it's done. Everything else should fall in line. So we button it all back up and then see if it starts. All right, she's all back together. Shock linkage, everything's put back together. No more shaky wakey. It's good. Float bowl's good. So the carb, turn the gas on here. No leaks, which is good. Means the float's working. Now let's see. I think she idles a little high, but I'm not going to mess with that now. Just kind of let her warm up. It's not warmed up. It's old. So she's done. I will deliver back to Daulton, and he should have some fun. I might even take it to Croom this weekend and screw around with it just to kind of see how the suspension is. It's pretty soft, but